I'm feeling really good today, ladies and gentlemen. I just am. I don't know, ever since I started this secret project I've been working on, I've just been feeling so much better. I really have. And then, there's actually actually it's not really anything particular. Don't mind the beeping in the background. There's some sort of a maintenance problem going on where I'm working right now. But at least I'm able to work. At least I'm able to make this video, which hopefully my loud, obnoxious, annoying voice will drown out any of the incessant beeping, which is odd for me to say because I'm actually talking in a rather quiet state as of right now. So, I suppose, with all of that said, good morning and happy Thursday, everybody. So, yeah, today's Thursday. We got, I'll say about, actually, it's just one more day before technically the weekend starts, which is always amazing. So, we got a lot of things to look forward to. I mean, preseason football is still going on. The other day I had a phone conversation with my uncle back in Denver. See, you guys know I was in Colorado for a little while, so let's see. Sorry, don't mind the background noise. Just other people I'm working with. Anyway, let's see. Darn, now they lose my train of thought. Oh, right. So I was having a phone conversation with my uncle back in Denver. And obviously, I mentioned Denver, and it's going to be sports related. It's going to be about the Denver Broncos. He's a Broncos fan. And so, he actually was at work the other day, and he had a friend who offered him tickets to one of the Broncos games coming up during the preseason. I'm thinking, oh, that seems kind of cool. I mean, tickets to a football game, it's actually kind of exciting. I wouldn't mind going to a football game. That would actually be really cool. Because believe it or not, I have been to a football game before. In fact, I actually went on the day before my 26th birthday to Buffalo to see the Dallas Cowboys play. It was the year that Tony Romo got himself injured, and we recruited Greg Hardy, and we went 4-12. And yeah, that was just a mess. Although surprisingly, I really wasn't as mad about that year as I was about this past year. Because honestly, Tony Romo getting injured, and I've always had mixed feelings about Tony Romo, and if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, it's pretty obvious why. Actually, I'll get into that in a minute or two. So, yeah, as bad as the 4-12 year was, I thought last year was worse just from a moral standpoint, because what happened to Ezekiel Elliott never should have happened at all. That was just nonsense. In fact, had Ezekiel Elliott not been suspended for those 6 games, the Eagles do not win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying. Go Cowboys. Now, so, my thoughts on Tony Romo. For many years I actually gave this a lot of thought. And, I think one of the first years Tony Romo was playing for the Dallas Cowboys, things were we went was it 3? No, it was the first year we made it to the playoffs. And if any of you football historians are remembering this, Tony Romo messed up the field goal that would have won us the game against the Seahawks. And year after year, he kept making even more and more mistakes. I think the biggest mistake I ever saw Tony Romo do, and this was when I was legit. This is just before I really started getting back into football again. I believe it was my senior year of college. Was it junior? No, it was senior year. It was senior year because that was the year that we were in no way, shape, or form going to be able to go to the playoffs. I remember that. Anyway, what ended up happening was, I mean, again, we weren't going to the playoffs. That's for certain. But, you know, if you're not going to the playoffs, you can at least try and end your season on a high note, preferably with a win. Believe it or not, the game, we were losing this particular game. And this was the last game of the year, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We actually had an opportunity to try and win the game because we had a couple minutes left. I'm pretty sure we had at least one timeout left. And, you know, we have the ball. Really, all we got to do is just make a drive and score. But literally, Tony Romo's final play of not only that game, but literally the entire season, was yet another interception that he threw. At that point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, please, can we please get rid of this guy for someone better who wouldn't keep making these mistakes every December? It was unbelievable. Oh, and the story actually gets a little better. Shortly after his last play of that year, which again was an interception, I hear he signs like another 7-year contract deal for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm like, no, we're never going to get rid of this guy. Funny enough, though, a year later, you know, we ended up going 8-8. That was the year our defense was like last in the league and everything. So again, we go 8-8, and then a year later after that, we actually went 12-4. And I mean, yeah, Tony Romo kept getting injured that year, but we still made it 12-4, and Tony Romo actually won his second playoff game that year too, against the Lions. Yeah, funny enough, I actually remember the last time the Dallas Cowboys won a playoff game before then, January 9th, 2010. I know this because some jerk I knew back in college, who of course was a Patriots fan, was being like, when's the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game? Ever. In my defense, I didn't know at the time, but later that night, we actually beat the Eagles like, I think it was like 35-14, when it was like 34-7 at like the end of the half or whatever. So I texted him back saying, January 9th, 2010. That's the last time the Cowboys won a playoff game. So he was not happy about that. But I was. Especially since I do believe that year the Patriots got themselves eliminated from the playoffs too. So my team went farther than his that year. Haha. This was my freshman year of college, by the way. So about 2 years after, we went 12-4. A year later, we went 4-12 because of Tony Romo's injury. And a year later, Tony Romo gets injured again. I'm like, oh God, there goes our season. Then, lo and behold, Rain Dakota Prescott steps in, and he basically saved the season. And him and Ezekiel Elliott, you know, those guys are the future of the Dallas Cowboys. And yeah, as a Dallas Cowboys fan, it does sadden me to know that Jason Witten's gone, and to a lesser extent, Des Bryant is gone. But you know what? We still got Cole Beasley, or Cole Beastly, as I like to call him, because he is a beast who loves laying down the sauce. If you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you know exactly what I mean. You know, we got Terrence Williams, and you know what? On defense, we got DeMarcus Lawrence. We got Chidobe Awuzie. I actually know how to pronounce that name. I took the time to learn how to pronounce Chidobe Awuzie, and so should you. And honestly, the heart and soul of our Dallas Cowboys defense, Shawn the Mastodon Lee. I tried to think of a better awesome name. I tried to think of a really good name that rhymed with Shawn. And honestly, I could have gone with Braun, but Braun would most likely indicate that Shawn Lee is not very smart. And he actually is very smart because anyone who's seen him play knows he's very smart about playing the game and everything. Plus, honestly, I hadn't heard the word Mastodon since Power Rangers, and honestly, I think it's time we brought that word back because Mastodons are awesome. They're giant bull elephants, or prehistoric bull elephants that, are giant, were the biggest things on earth and just mighty and powerful. And you know what? That is exactly what Shawn Lee is, mighty and powerful, as he is the heart and soul of the Dallas Cowboys defense. Plus, he's one letter away from Stanley, and we all know Stanley is the man, so there you go. By default, Shawn Lee is the man. And I should also point this out for those of you who wouldn't know this about Shawn Lee. He's actually a Penn State alum. We are. I actually never went to Penn State, but I did go to a Penn State themed wedding. Oh yeah, those things exist. And it was glorious. It was actually my cousin and his wife who got married in the Poconos, I believe. Very lovely wedding, very nice. They actually got the DJ to say, I have a message from the bride to everyone saying, we are? Yeah. So, in fact, I actually started liking, there isn't a college football team I like more than the others. But there are some I think about, like Penn State, Ohio State, Syracuse, places like those. And when my cousin and his wife and his in-laws came up to Cuca Lake, I actually, because it was 4th of July weekend of 2014 that year, and I said, you know what you guys, what Penn State should do? They should take the American flag, and instead of having stars on it, they should have the Penn State logo. It'd be the same colors, just 50 miniature Nittany Lion pictures. That'd be awesome, actually. Everybody laughed. It was great. So, yeah. I guess, long story short is, thank God Tony Romo is no longer on the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott are awesome. Shawn Lee is the man. Cole Beasley will lay down the sauce. And you got DeMarcus the Tank Lawrence helping out on defense. Not to mention, Chidobe Awuzie is the coolest name ever. I could go on and on how much I love the Dallas Cowboys, but you know what? I don't need to. I know exactly that. Because the Dallas Cowboys have bring me joy, in other cases sorrow over the years. But that's how football works. And you know what? I really do think it's going to be our year. I really, really do. Yeah, we lost to the 49ers, but that was only preseason, as we all know. And I get the feeling we're going to be in the Super Bowl this year. I really am hoping we are. Because I know at full strength, we can beat the Eagles. I'm positive we can. But we'll just have to wait and see. That reminds me, I probably should be looking at the schedule for that. Oh, anyway. I better stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys before I get more hate. So please like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. I could really use the support. I'm humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hopeful you have a wonderful Thursday. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. So take care. And you know what? Speaking of football, you have a new episode of Hot Ones. So look forward to that too. Take care.